Welcome to the Deep Dive.
Great to be here.
Today we're digging into, well, it's more than just a place. It feels like a flashpoint. We've gathered sources on South Etobicoke in Toronto, but what they really map out is this tension. You know, the kind almost every big city is wrestling with.
It really is a perfect microcosm, isn't it? These sources drop us right into November 2025.
Yeah.
And you see it all colliding, huge development ambitions, serious environmental concerns, financial jitters everywhere.
And yet, underneath it all, this really strong community focus on history, on helping each other out, even globally.
Exactly. That balance, or maybe imbalance, between rapid change and, core values.
So the big picture, what we're trying to unpack is what happens when that massive urban growth plan, the dream of 65-story towers, smacks right into economic reality.
And resource limits.
And resource limits, yeah. So our goal today is to sort through this, figure out why this local drama actually matters to you, wherever you happen to be listening.
Let's jump in.
Okay, first big theme, development and infrastructure hitting the brakes hard.
Right. Mimico. It was supposed to be ground zero for this big revitalization.
But the huge setback is the pause on the Parklawn GO Station. That's major.
It is. And when people saw the Van Dyke Grand Central Mimico project go bankrupt, the worry was housing. But now...
Now the transit itself is shaky.
Exactly. The station's paused because, get this, the partner is reviewing development plans.
Wait, hold on. The private development partner?
Yep.
Doesn't that just highlight a massive risk? Public transit, depending on whether private developers are, well, solvent.
It completely exposes that vulnerability, the whole plan for the old Mr. Christie site.
The towers, the TTC hub, library, school, daycare, all of it.
All of it. It hinged on the private sector staying on track and, financially healthy.
So the partner pauses.
And the whole community benefits package just stalls out. It really shows how these grand urban plans can crumble if they lean too heavily on, say, pre-sale condo economics, especially in a downturn.
And we're seeing those economic headwinds hit elsewhere too, right? Like the Clove complex cancellation.
Yeah.
Near Cloverdale Mall.
Oh, yeah, that was huge. A 33-story tower, over 600 condos planned.
But why?
Because they sold less than 10% of the pre-construction units. Insiders are basically saying developers aim too high.
Prices were just out of whack for the current market.
Totally. With interest rates biting, people just couldn't or wouldn't pay those prices. It's not just a delay, it's like proof the speculative model is fragile right now.
But the push to build keeps going. I mean, look at the Sobeys grocery store at Kipling Queensway Mall.
1255 the Queensway, closing permanently.
To make way for, what was it, 13 towers? Some up to 65 stories.
Yeah, and Parkland. And there's another Sobeys nearby, 125 the Queensway, also potentially on the chopping block for condos.
So you've got this situation where essential stuff, like where you buy your groceries,
or access transit,
right, is being sacrificed for future density, even when that future density looks pretty uncertain financially.
Even established projects are feeling it. Sherway Gardens is tweaking its plan for those 4 towers on the parking lot. Still aiming for 1,650 homes, but, adjusting.
Market conditions keep shifting under their seat.
Constantly.
Okay, so that's the land and capital side. Let's pivot now. How is all this growth stressing? Like the fundamental resources, water, for instance.
Yes. The Microsoft AI data center.
I saw the water consumption numbers for that, the YTO 40 facility. I honestly had to read them twice.
This is where the hidden cost of the AI boom kind of pops up, right? It's going up on the old Lowe's site. These places need incredible amounts of power, obviously, but also just vast quantities of clean water for cooling.
And the number approved. It's up to 39.75 liters per second.
Every single second. Let's put that in perspective for you. That works out to about 1.2 billion liters a year.
A year of municipal drinking water.
Drinking quality water, yeah. Enough to fill about 500 Olympic-sized swimming pools.
That's
just to cool servers. So the deeper thing here is this signals the huge, often unseen infrastructure cost of this AI race. Cities are basically forced to weigh basic human water needs against tech progress driven by massive corporations.
And while that new tech is guzzling resources, there's this fight brewing over revenue from older tech. The speed cameras.
Oh, definitely. Automated speed enforcement, ASC, the politics are really stark on this one.
Premier Ford wants them gone. Introduced legislation to remove hundreds, calling them a cash grab.
Well, the numbers are pretty big. Toronto collects over $40 million a year from them.
And that one camera on Parkside Drive, the one people kept chopping down.
7 times. And it still generated almost $7 million in fines.
$7 million from one camera. Yeah. But then you have Mayor Chow and the police saying, hang on.
They work. They slow traffic. They save lives. They point to 250 people killed or seriously injured on Toronto roads just since 2024.
So it's this real conflict. Revenue generator versus public safety tool. Where's the line?
It's a tough one. And speaking of conflicts involving public resources, environmental groups actually scored a big win along the Humber River.
Right, the Toronto Humber Yacht Club. Shut down after 70 years.
Driven by community pressure, yeah. A petition with 2,500 signatures.
And the concerns were pretty specific, weren't they? It's a Canadian heritage river.
Facing erosion, flood risks.
Yeah.
Yeah. They worried about boat pollution, hurting marine life, fuel spills, wakes from the boats.
And even the gazebos. They mentioned 60 gazebos built along the shore, degrading the riparian zone.
That's a clear case of prioritizing natural heritage over a long-standing community use. Pretty significant.
Okay, so we've covered market failures, resource fights, rapid change. Let's shift gears. What grounds this community? Because the sources also show this incredible resilience.
Yeah, it's a beautiful contrast, isn't it? This deep commitment to honoring history and at the same time very current humanitarian work.
Nothing shows that history part better than Remembrance Day. That poppy project at the Legion, Branch 101.
Amazing. A huge net, 6,500 knitted or crocheted poppies.
Made by over 80 volunteers from all over Canada and the U.S. It's just this powerful visual symbol.
And it ties right into the area's really significant wartime history. South Etobicoke was crucial.
The sources mention the naval ships, right? The Corvette Long Branch.
Escorting convoys across the Atlantic in WWII. And the HMCS Mimico.
And actual heroes came from there. Victoria Cross recipients. That's the highest military honor.
2 of them. Flight Lieutenant David Ernest Hornell from Mimico, awarded posthumously for sinking a U-boat in '44.
And Corporal Frederick Chopham, a medic from New Toronto, earned his VC in '45 during Operation Varsity. That history of service is just woven into the place.
And that thread continues, you know, it doesn't just stop at WWII. Think about the Izzy doll.
Ah, the knitted dolls. Named after Master Corporal Mark Asfeld, killed in Croatia in '94.
Yeah. And the scale is just mind-blowing. Over 1.5 million of these dolls have been donated globally.
To comfort kids in war zones, disaster areas, it's incredible.
Such a simple symbol of Canadian peacekeeping and just basic human comfort.
And that symbol sits right alongside very real current humanitarian crises mentioned in the sources. Hurricane Melissa, for example.
Yeah, devastating Category 5 storm, hit the Caribbean hard, over 40 killed in Jamaica, 31 in Haiti.
And the local response was immediate. Global Medic providing water purification kits.
Right. And the Canadian government stemming up with $7 million for food aid, supplies, focusing on those really hard-hit areas like Black River and Treasure Beach.
But it's not just the big disasters. The sources show that crucial ongoing effort happens right at the community level, too.
Like the Alderwood Church sponsoring Ibrahim Nasiri.
Exactly. An Afghan man, 34 years old, stuck in an Indonesian refugee camp for a decade. That local sponsorship effort. It takes real commitment.
It shows you need both, right? The big government aid and that sustained person-to-person community support.
Okay, so we've hit the big conflicts, the core values. What about some practical takeaways? The sources had some financial advice sort of geared towards you, the listener, navigating these tricky times.
Yeah, some really straightforward stuff, actually. The foundation is simple. Never spend more than you earn daily.
And kill that consumer debt interest.
Yeah.
Just get rid of it. That's step one for any kind of stability.
Absolutely. From there, the advice is kind of about finding stability amidst all this volatility we've been talking about, like the condo market chaos.
So, GICs, guaranteed investment certificates.
Right. Safe, compounded interest. Good anchor. Or, if you want a bit more involvement, DIY investing.
Using low-cost blended ETFs, exchange-traded funds.
Exactly. Funds that basically track major market indexes. Think of it like building a balanced portfolio instead of betting the farm on one risky thing.
And some basic banking tips, too. Check out alternative banks.
Yeah, like Wealthsimple, PC Financial, EQ Bank. They often have better savings rates, no fee checking, saves you money on just, banking.
And always use a mortgage broker if you're buying.
Always. Even tiny differences in interest rates add up to huge amounts over the life of a mortgage.
Good practical stuff.
Okay.
Let's bring it back to that contrast. Resilience versus change.
You've got the Mimico Home Hardware, been around since about 1925. Same family owning it since '75.
Just quietly holding its ground while talk of 65-story towers swirls around it.
But then, even long-standing heritage sometimes has to make way for progress, or at least infrastructure.
The Mary Read House from 1939. That beautiful low stone wall and gateposts.
City Council approved demolishing them for the new Metrolink station at Royal York Eglinton.
With a promise to rebuild them later.
Right. But still, even 86 years of history gets carefully taken apart for transit needs. It shows the trade-offs.
So let's try and synthesize this. What does it all add up to?
Well, we've seen this really aggressive push for huge density, right? The giant towers.
Running straight into economic reality.
Hmm?
Canceled projects, financial headwinds.
And we've seen the drive for new tech, like AI, creating these massive kind of hidden environmental costs, the water usage.
While at the same time, the community is digging deep into its history, its global aid efforts.
And fighting over whether old tech, like speed cameras, is a cash grab or a lifesaver.
It's this real mix of looking forward and looking back.
Okay, so here's the final thought we want to leave you with, and it comes straight from the numbers we talked about.
Remember that one speed camera location, Parkside
Yeah.
Drive, generated almost $7 million in revenue.
Right. Now compare that $7 million cash flow from that older system.
Now, the resource cost of the new system. One AI data center needing 1.2 billion liters of municipal water every year.
So if one old system brings in millions, but one new tech facility costs billions of liters of a scarce resource.
Are we maybe focusing our scrutiny on the wrong things? Is the debate about cash grabs distracting us?
Should we be looking much harder at the resource drain, the environmental price tag of this new digital economy we're building so rapidly?
Maybe our regulations, our public debate is still stuck on old problems while new, much bigger ones are emerging. Something to think about as you make your own choices, financially and as a citizen.